tear by replacing your old Seen Better Day boxers with Tommy John, the revolutionary clothing company with a no wedgie guarantee. TommyJohn.com, code HERD, H-E-R-D, 20% off. By the way, you know, this football is an amazing thing. Just think about this. How good was the Super Bowl? How good was Jacksonville, New England? How good was Jacksonville, Pittsburgh? How good was Atlanta, Philadelphia? How good was Minnesota, New Orleans? I mean, the last, 7 games, outside of that Eagle-Viking blowout, how good was football in the last 3 weeks? It was incredible. The playoff games, the majority of our playoff games this year were absolutely incredible. And now we have incredible news that Josh McDaniels, basically a verbal commitment to Indianapolis, some coaches' families moved there, and he goes back to New England. So what a wild day today. Chris Ballard held a press conference earlier. He's fairly bitter, and I totally get it. And I think the reason he's bitter is this thing was going to work. This was going to be Garoppolo, Kyle Shanahan. It was going to be Goff, Sean McVay. It was going to be Bill O'Brien, Deshaun Watson. It was going to work. Pat Shurmur's going to get Josh Rosen or Sam Darnold. That thing's going to work. The only time a top quarterback and a top coordinator have gone together recently and it didn't work is Dirk Cutter and Jameis Winston, and it's certainly not a failure. I mean, Jameis Winston's passer rating keeps getting better. He keeps getting better, just slower than we anticipated. So it's let me shift gears, though, to the NBA. You know, I've been saying this, is that football dynasties last longer than basketball dynasties, because football dynasties are built on the system and the coach. Older. Basketball dynasties don't last as long because they're built on players, stars, and their kids. And kids emotionally get gassed up and pumped up, and they're told how great they are. I promised you when the Warriors signed Kevin Durant, I said they're going to win 2 or 3 titles, but it's not going to last as long as you think. You think it's going to be like 8 years. And I'm like, no, it's not. They're going to win a couple titles, and it'll start fraying and fall apart. So last night, Golden State got shelled at home by Oklahoma City. Never led. I could argue in a big game it's their worst home loss. And this is already fraying 19 months in. Now, I think they're going to win the championship. But Steve Kerr admitted Saturday. Let's play the tape. Steve Kerr admitted we are worn out.
Our guys are dying to get to the All-Star break. We're limping to the finish line at the All-Star break. And but we got to fight through to the break, and then we need to get the hell away from each other and go sit on a beach and relax, and we'll be in great shape.
Now just think about that. 19 months together. Best record in the NBA, and the coach says, we are exhausted. That's why I tend to give LeBron a break. He's been in the spotlight for 14 years. Michael Jordan couldn't handle it. He retired twice. And he didn't have to deal with social media. The Golden State Warriors are acknowledging it's fraying. There's tension. There's boredom. It's hard. There's fatigue. Hell, they're 19 months in. It just started. And they're already, on a nightly basis, disengaged. You think LeBron, after 14 years in the spotlight's a little fried? A little? I mean, how long can you be asked to carry a city, carry a team, carry the logo, carry the franchise, carry the finals, carry the ratings? Yeah, LeBron's probably fried. Some of it his own doing, but fried is fried. The great MJ, the resilience, the power, the strength of MJ. He retired. It's like, I'm out. Twice. 19 months, Golden State. Whoa, we are fried. Shaq, Kobe. LeBron, Miami. LeBron, Kyrie. Big Three in Boston. Michael Jordan. Basketball is star-driven. Stars have egos. These babies don't last. Belichick and Brady on their 18th year. Christine, the news.
No.
Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
Mike Reese, who is one of the Patriots beat reporters who I really trust, has a story out now that lists some of the things that the Patriots offered to McDaniels to help keep him in New England. And it has some really interesting stuff in there. And it mentions Belichick's willingness to take his mentorship to a higher level, and that played a significant part in McDaniels wanting to stay. Belichick also told McDaniels that he would spend more time with him on the inner workings of the Patriots, including roster construction and salary cap management, which McDaniels considered very valuable. And Robert and Jonathan Kraft apparently endorsed this idea because it could be part of a succession plan for Belichick in the future. They also offered him a long-term contractual commitment, and that was important to McDaniels because he has 4 kids and he wanted them to stay in the same school system for a long time.
That's always bigger than people think.
Yes, and he pointed out specifically that stability is rare in the coaching profession, and McDaniels values stability. So those things all make a lot of sense.
Listen, I know nobody wants to believe this, but for all you like 20-year-old fanboys, like your wife's happiness is like a thing, and if you're 41... and that was a while back for me, but when you're 41 and you've got that, 38-year-old wife and she's got the 4 kids and she's doing a majority of the work because you're at the Patriots headquarters for 17 hours a day and traveling, and the wife's the one doing all the shop and all the kids and all the... I mean, it's not balanced. You may be bringing in the money. She's raising the kids to a large degree, and wives have a big say. Don't think for yourself. If she's got a social network... She knows where the kids go to school, her coffee shop. She's got her friends. She's got the school moms that can help her out. You don't think that has any impact? I know we don't believe it to be true. I have never once moved without having to ask this question in my life to my wife. Is it okay with you?
Yeah, of course. You have to ask your wife if she wants to move.
So, I mean, you could say... Oh, Colin, then why didn't he say? But, man, listen, you get recruited, you get seduced, they throw money, you're going to be you take it home. I mean, this stuff is fluid. Everybody always thinks these decisions, like LeBron to Miami, it was made a year in advance. I've moved 4 times cross-country. I have not known, the last time was the first time that I had a real strong feeling a month out.
I didn't think about it from like an asking your wife perspective, but I thought about it in terms of coaches do get fired a lot. And if he were to go take this Colts job and maybe the Colts didn't do well for a few years, maybe he loses that job.
And now he's 45 and never gets a head job again.
And with the Patriots, he at least knows that he's got a job for a long time.
Yeah.
And that might be more valuable. And his kids get to stay in the same school.
Yeah.
Bill Burr, who is a huge Patriots fan. He's from Boston, and he's been on this show. He had very strong feelings about the Tom Brady failed trick play.
Oh, come on.
And he was on Conan last night and broke it down.
You know what was funny was when on that play you actually saw his age. You know, when he stands in the pocket, he looks 25. The second he starts running, it's like, dude, I could D this guy up. Like, did you see last year when he threw that pick 6, when he dove to tackle that guy, it looked like somebody threw a dead body out of a car. Like his arm moved, and that was it. But when he stands in the pocket, he looks like an astronaut. This guy's, he's going to live forever.
Yeah.
He's like Cocoon or something.
Yeah.
They had that trick play with Nick Foles. And Collinsworth just kept talking. That was the most unbelievable trick play ever. It's like the Patriots just ran that play. They're acting like they've never seen it before.
That is funny. It really is funny. This, when you watch this, you're like, oh, yeah, Tom's a 40-year-old quarterback.
I can't believe he's being so cruel to Tom. That's his quarterback.
Listen.
This guy.
Yeah, really the funniest part of that joke is if you go to that interception last year at the Super Bowl, oh, God, he's right.
Yes.
Yeah, Tom just looked. When these quarterbacks.
That was not good.
No. Whenever a quarterback throws a pick and they go for the tackle, it's like, oh, I forgot how great the rest of the athletes on the field are. Yeah.
Also, is the quarterback really putting in all of his effort to tackle? I don't think so.
Yeah.
That's not what you should be doing. I'm okay with you kind of giving that half of your effort.
Oh, I could have had that.
You could have had that? I'm
No,
not
no,
done.
I said
know
Tommy could have had
we're going to
that.
try to tell me that I'm done. I'm not done.
Okay.
So, remember, I think this was earlier in the week or maybe last week that we realized that LeBron watches the show?
Yeah.
Or someone in his
Yeah.
camp does. Well, there's another guy that I figured out watches the show as well. And this time, it's one of the guys on your list. This is John Wall.
Oh, okay.
And when you listen to him speak, you'll see what I mean.
Okay.
He heard your comments
He did?
about how the Wizards would be better off
It was
without
like a
him.
3-second comment.
It was funny to me at first just to see some of the things that people were saying and certain type of comments. But like I said, I've seen these guys put in a lot of work every day. I know these guys, we always say the motto is the next man up no matter what. I think we moved the ball well early in the season. We just couldn't make shots, and then we couldn't defend at all. I think the young guys are stepping up. The first unit and second unit are playing very well, but it was kind of shocking to hear a couple people say the ball is moving a lot better when that's what I pride myself off of, is being more happy when my teammates are scoring than I am.
Yeah, I don't think he's talking about me there, because did we even bring that up? I could have buried John Wall this week, and I never did.
I think you did bring it up briefly.
Briefly. Yeah, listen, I've had opportunities. He went 0 for 11 against Boston last year in the biggest game of his career in the fourth quarter. If I wanted to pick on John Wall, I could. I think he's a really talented kid, but you can't deny that their assist ratio's gone through the roof since he left. He's a ball-centric guard. It doesn't mean they're better long-term without him, but John is kind of the gravitational force, and when he leaves, the ball moves better.
Okay,
still really talented. I got nothing against. People think I have something against John Wall. I think he's a good kid and talented. I don't think he has a ton of self-awareness, but I think he's talented.
I think you might have some bias against John Wall. That's okay. I have some bias against LeBron. It's fine. We can have that, but they both watch.
Christy with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie News.
New York, Coward Global Satellite Network. Let's go. NFL insider Peter Schrager. Let's start with Josh McDaniels. Give me the details. Listen, this shocked a lot of people. I texted Chris Ballard last night. He was shocked. People were upset. Give me some details, Schrags.
I spoke to Chris Ballard as well. He was shocked. He found out at 7:15. It was public at 7:20. But I'll tell you everything you need to know right here, Colin. Josh McDaniels had packed his bags. He was ready to go. He had the boxes in the office ready when he showed up to work yesterday. He had a 4-hour meeting with Jonathan Kraft, Bob Kraft, and Bill Belichick. And he came out of that thing, said, I need to call my wife immediately. Spoke with his wife. They have 4 kids, like you said. And he decided the stability of being in New England was what he wanted. Now, there was obviously some sort of arrangement or some sort of agreement about a passing of the torch down the road. Nothing in print. They can't sign anything. That's against the CBA. But McDaniel said he would rather be on an island and never work. I mean, essentially, this is selling his reputation for the second time in his career. I can't see another franchise wanting to roll the dice on Josh McDaniels after this stuff. But he said he wants his kids to go to the same high school that they have been going to. They want to go to the same elementary school. And it's an interesting deal. I spoke to sources close to the situation. It's not every day a guy can work for an organization for 15 years, go to 8 Super Bowls. He isn't in the same boat as maybe a McVay or a Pat Shurmur or a Kyle Shanahan who hops place to place to place on the search for the next thing. Josh McDaniels has found his piece. This is his ideal job. And Colin, the crazy deal is this, that I don't see this reported anywhere. Besides Gruden, besides Belichick, he was going to be put up in that kind of caliber of pay. So he is turning down several $1 million in a promotion. The Colts were willing to spend whatever it took to get Josh McDaniels. He's walking away from that. It is a very liberating, it is a very powerful, and it is a very luxurious thing to not value the dollar as the almighty factor. He has withdrawn his name from a San Francisco job that ended up paying Kyle Shanahan close to $7 million. He's withdrawn his name from a Browns coaching search that would have paid him a ton of money. He's not in it for the money. So everyone's saying, well, how could he turn away this? When money doesn't motivate you and money's not a factor and your family's happiness and your own personal happiness is enough, that is a scary deal for the other side of it. So everyone is burning the bridges with Josh McDaniels except for who's in Foxborough. I'll tell you this might be news also. He was rep by one of the top coaching agents in the history of the sport, Bob Lamont. This was Mike Holmgren's agent. This was Andy Reid's agent. He's Sean McVay's agent, Doug Peterson's agent. He's the most powerful coaching agent outside of Jimmy Sexton in this entire deal. I am told that they are leaning towards severing ties with Josh McDaniels after what was pulled yesterday, that this was such a backbreaker, this was such a surprise, this was such a bomb last night that a man's word meant nothing when he backs out on it. And I think a lot of people in Josh's inner circle understand it. I think everyone outside of it is saying, this is as low as it gets. You don't back out on your word like that. And look at the assistant coaches who accepted jobs based on the good faith that you were leaving and taking that Indianapolis job.
It's got kind of a Lane Kiffin feel to it. So what's next for the Colts? They got a good GM in Chris Ballard. They have, what I think is a really high-end quarterback. What's next? Who's out there?
It's a great question, Colin, and I would like everyone, I know they're watching the show, so after the show, go and Google Chris Ballard's press conference today. It's one of the greatest press conferences you'll ever see. He is the most stand-up individual. Colin, you know him. This guy is a star.
Yeah.
And what he said is this: being first out of the gate was never a priority for ours, and if Josh McDaniels had a second or a percentage, 1% of doubt, he wasn't the guy. So we're good. This is great. We're fine. He said the conversation with McDaniels yesterday lasted 5 minutes. Josh tried to start to explain what his reasonings was. Ballard cut him short, said, I think we're good. I got to go find a coach, hung up the phone, and on they go. 2 names to watch. One of them, Frank Reich, the offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles, had not interviewed for many jobs. He is going to be a name that the Colts are going to target. The other one is an interesting one. Dan Campbell, the former interim coach of the Dolphins. He's been with the Saints, working under Sean Payton. Kind of a tough guy. He might be the next guy there as well. I don't think they're going to go defensive coach because they already signed a contract with Matt Eberflus, who is going to be their defensive coordinator regardless of the coach. Chris Ballard said an interesting thing. He said, my word is bond. I hired those 3 assistant coaches that were coming with McDaniels. They're on the staff no matter what, no matter who the head coach is going to be.
All right, so the Nick Foles thing with the Eagles is interesting. Listen, we've done this before. Blake Bortles goes in a winning streak. Mark Sanchez, Tim Tebow, Kirk Cousins, and we're like, oh, my God, they're stars. Carson Wentz, that's his team. But in the NFL, you do need a legitimate backup, and Nick Foles doesn't appear to me, Pete, to be driven by money either. He wants to be a pastor. He's a good kid. He almost retired. He's not driven by money. So is Nick Foles going to turn down $17 million with the Arizona Cardinals or Denver and stay in Philly as a backup? Because that's what he'd be. Is he going to stay?
It's a weird deal because Colin, what's not being reported, he's got another year in his contract, and he's only making about $6-7 million. So Super Bowl MVP, who's going to be the backup. It's already been determined. Carson Wentz, if he's healthy, is the starter. But the weird deal with that Eagles team is that, like, they are so all in on each other that Foles, from what I'm reading and hearing, is that he's going to be just fine coming in as the backup and being a Super Bowl sports hero in Philadelphia for the rest of his life, and then testing free agency if that's what he wants to do the following year. But I don't hear about any holdout going on. I don't hear any demands being made. But I'll say this, all it takes is one phone call. And if Howie Roseman, who is a wheeler and a dealer, is a guy who traded Sam Bradford away for, a first-round pick. There's a guy who also made the move to jump up and get Carson Wentz when he already had Sam Bradford and Chase Daniel. If Howie Roseman gets a call and you're talking a first-round pick, I think he has to listen. And I think Nick Foles understands the business enough. No matter what, though, you can't take away that Super Bowl legacy. He is a hero in sports lore in Philadelphia, no matter if he takes another snap with the Eagles. But as of right now, he'll be the backup in Philadelphia next season.
Our information guy, Peter Schrager, trudging through the blizzard of New York to be on the show. You are money, baby. Thanks for coming on.
Colin, you nailed it in your opening to this hour. The NFL's the best, and we have a heck of a lot more to go. The draft is right around the corner.
Yep, can't wait for that. Peter Schrager. Coming up next, Lakers LeBron. I've got some thoughts. Doug Gottlieb said something yesterday that made me think. It's The Herd.
Welcome to Burger King. Try the 2 for $6 mix or match deal, now including the crispy chicken.
This is weird.